Okay, let's unpack this. Think about it. So much of life revolves around what you do every single day, doesn't it? From
Hmm.
waking up to, well, finally hitting the pillow at night. And when you meet someone, maybe someone new or just, catch up with a friend,
Yeah.
what's one of the first things you talk about? Usually it's about your day.
That's so true. Describing your daily routine, it's just fundamental, really, in any language.
Right.
It's practical, it's personal, it's just a really natural way to connect, to understand someone else's life.
Absolutely. And if you're learning English, being able to talk about your routine,
Mm.
well, it's not just useful, it's kind of essential, wouldn't you say?
Totally essential.
It really helps you feel more comfortable, in just everyday conversations. You can get what others are sharing,
Yeah, understand their day.
and you can share your own life too.
Which is exactly why this deep dive is, I think, so useful. We've looked at a bunch of sources, articles on the keywords, examples of routines, grammar tips, and even a really fascinating look at how daily life is different across the globe.
Okay.
So our mission really is to pull out the best bits, the practical stuff from all this material, to help you feel genuinely confident describing your day in English.
Right. So we're going to walk you through the basic building blocks, show you how to put them together,
Just structure.
and then zoom out a bit to
Mm.
see how these simple language tools can help you talk about routines basically anywhere. So let's dig into these sources. Where do we start? The basics.
Yeah, definitely the basics. When you want to talk about what you do every day, you absolutely need the right verbs. The sources really hammer this home.
Makes sense. Action words.
Exactly. Verbs are the words that, make your routine actually happen in the description.
Okay, so what are those like must-know verbs, the ones that pop up again and again in the sources for daily life?
Well, you'll see a core list pretty much everywhere. Things like wake up, get up,
Mm-hmm.
have or eat. And it's good to know both are fine for meals. You can have breakfast or eat breakfast, both work.
Okay, good tip.
Then brush like teeth or hair. Get dressed.
Yeah.
Go to work, school, bed, start and finish work or school again.
Right. The main transitions.
Exactly. Come home or get home. Watch TV, watch movies, read a book, maybe the news, cook, clean, sleep, walk. These are like the bedrock.
That covers a lot already.
Uh-huh.
But routines have lots of little moments too, right?
Yeah.
Specific tasks. What else did the sources bring up?
Oh, yeah, lots of specifics. Things like checking emails, working on the computer, pretty standard now, right?
Very standard for many.
Or making things like you make breakfast, make dinner, make phone calls, even make photocopies depending on your job.
Ah, the make verb.
And the do verbs, too. Do homework, do laundry, do housework, the chores, basically.
Right, the doing. And some sources got even more detailed, didn't they?
They did. Little things like turning off your alarm, that first battle of the day.
Ah,
Or
definitely.
specific things like combing your hair, which is slightly different from brushing. Useful distinction. And taking or having a shower or bath. Again, you can use take or have. Both are really common.
Good to know there are options.
And then, yeah, chores keep coming up. Answering emails, feeding the dog or cat, washing up or doing the dishes.
Same thing, different words.
Exactly. Sweeping the floor, tidying up a room.
Feels like they covered the whole day, morning till night.
Yep.
What about evenings?
Yep. Things like going on Facebook or other social media, or positive habits like exercising or meditating,
Nice.
and those regular chores, going grocery shopping maybe once a week, watering the garden perhaps every evening if you have one.
Right.
Even tiny details like shining your shoes if that's part of your routine, or the classic end of day checklist. Lock the door, turn off the lights.
Wow. Okay, so the sources really give a full picture, but it also shows how different routines can be.
Absolutely. But the cool thing is we often use the same kinds of verbs to talk about them. Now, there are some grammar points here the sources highlighted that are really helpful.
Okay, like what? Little helper words?
Precisely. The sources point out we often use supporting verbs, especially have and get, with certain activities.
Ah, like you wouldn't just say, I breakfast.
Exactly. Sounds a bit weird, right? You'd say, I have breakfast, or I take a shower, or I have a shower, and I get dressed. Using those little verbs, have, get, take, makes it sound much more, well, natural. It's a key thing for learners to pick up on.
Okay, that's a really practical tip. It's not just the main verb. What about phrasal verbs? Those sometimes trip people up.
They can, yeah. But they are so common in daily routines, the sources make that really clear. Think about get up, wash up, tidy up.
Uh-huh. Verb plus a little word.
Right, a verb plus a preposition or adverb. And sometimes the meaning isn't obvious, but you just have to learn them. They're essential for describing everyday stuff naturally. Getting comfortable with common phrasal verbs for routines is like a big step.
So we've got the basic ingredients now, a really good list of verbs, including those supporting ones and the phrasal ones. How do we, put it all together to describe the whole flow of the day?
Right, the structure. And the sources show it's actually pretty straightforward most of the time. The basic pattern is just subject, I, plus verb, plus maybe some details.
Simple, like I wake up.
Exactly. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I eat breakfast, I go to work. It's very direct, which is good.
Simple is definitely good when you're learning. But a day isn't just one thing, it's a sequence, right? Action after action. How do we connect them smoothly?
Ah, okay, that's where sequence words come in. They're crucial. The sources list the main ones first, then after that, next, and finally.
Like little signposts.
Exactly. They guide the listener through your routine. First, I do this, then I do that. After that, it creates a logical flow.
Okay, I can see that. So sequence words link the actions. What about when things happen? Time must be important.
Oh, absolutely. Adding time expressions is key. You can be precise. At 7 a.m., at noon, at 5:30.
Specific times.
Or more general periods, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night. And you can also say how often. On weekdays, on weekends, every morning, sometimes.
Right, showing the regularity. Okay, let's try to build something. Could we walk through a quick example routine using these bits, verbs, sequence, time?
Sure, let's take inspiration from one source. Maybe imagine someone called Maria. You could start generally. On weekdays, I usually wake up early.
Okay, setting the scene.
Then get specific with sequence and time. First, I get up at 6 a.m.
Got it.
Then I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and take a shower. After that, I get dressed and have breakfast.
That's really clear. It uses on weekdays first, then after that, it's specific time. And those core verbs we talked about, wake up, brush, take, get dressed, have breakfast.
Exactly, and you just keep going. Next, I leave for work around 7:30 a.m. I start work at 8 a.m. I usually work on the computer.
And you mentioned having lunch.
Right. I have lunch at noon. Then I finish work and come home. See? You just string the actions together with time and sequence.
Yeah, that paints a pretty clear picture of a workday. And the sources had specific verbs just for school or work routines too, right?
They did. For school, you'd use verbs like go to school, have classes, maybe study in the library, finish school, do homework. Very focused on that environment.
Makes sense. And for work.
A slightly different set, often. Beyond the basics like go to work, start, finish work, have lunch, you get things like answer emails, make phone calls, have meetings, or organize a meeting, report to my boss, write a report, maybe even file papers or organize files.
So you tailor the verbs to the context. School day, work day, weekend.
Precisely. A weekend routine would use the same structure but different verbs. On weekends, I wake up late. First, I have a slow breakfast. Then maybe I tidy up the house a bit. After that, I might go grocery shopping or go for a run. In the evening, I often cook dinner and watch a movie. Same framework, different activities.
That flexibility is key, isn't it? The structure stays pretty much the same. Now, one more grammar thing the sources mentioned. All these examples use the present tense. I wake up. I go, I have. What if I'm talking about, say, yesterday or just this morning?
Ah, good point. That's when you need the past tense. One source had a conversation example showing this. If the routine is finished, you switch the verbs.
So, I wake up becomes.
I woke up. I have breakfast becomes I had breakfast. I go to work becomes I went to work.
Okay, so present tense for the usual, typical routine.
Yeah, your habits.
And past tense for a specific, completed routine, like telling a friend about your morning.
Exactly. That's a really important distinction for learners to grasp. Use the right tense for the right situation.
Got it. Okay, so we've covered the core words, the sentence building, the sequence, the time details, even the past tense. We've got the language tools. Now let's shift gears a bit because the sources also offer this amazing global perspective.
Yes. This part is so interesting because it really highlights that daily routine means vastly different things to different people.
Yeah.
The way we talk about it in English might be similar, but the content, wow, it changes hugely depending on a culture, location, lifestyle.
It really takes it beyond just grammar, doesn't it? Makes it about real life.
Completely. It connects the language to the huge variety of human experience.
So that source, daily routines in 11 different parts of the world. What were some of the standout examples?
Well, you see incredible adaptations to the environment, like The source mentions pastoralists in Bolivia, high up in the Andes.
Okay.
Their day is built around tending their llamas and alpacas, and their food is specific salteñas, those meat pastries for breakfast, and sopa de mani, peanut soup, for
Well,
lunch.
that was good.
And they have the afternoon siesta, taking a break when it's hottest, common in some cultures, but maybe surprising for others.
A siesta sounds pretty great, honestly.
Yeah.
And then there were the Hadza people in Tanzania.
Right, described as hunter-gatherers. Their routine isn't about clocks or jobs. It's about finding food foraging for tubers, baobab fruit, berries, maybe hunting.
Completely different rhythm of life.
And the source even mentioned their sleep patterns might be different, possibly sleeping less than many people in Western societies. It just shows how basic things like eating and sleeping are shaped by environment and tradition.
And travel. Some of the ways people get around.
Oh, yeah. Imagine your daily commute involving a dog-pulled sled or a kayak, like the Inuit in Greenland described in the source.
Wow.
Or compare that to a gondolier steering through the canals in Venice. Both daily routines, both travel, but worlds apart.
And the food again. The source listed curry in Assam, India. Jollof rice in Ghana.
Swasat, that's reindeer stew in Greenland. Squid risotto in Venice. Labna yogurt for the Bedouin in Jordan. These aren't just meals. They're like edible culture embedded in the day.
That's a great way to put it. Edible culture.
And this brings us back to the language point, which is really powerful. You can use the same English structures we discussed, subject plus verb plus details, to talk about all of these routines.
Right.
They have salteñas for breakfast in Bolivia. They forage for berries in the morning in Tanzania. He navigates the canals in his gondola in Venice. The basic sentence structure works.
So the vocabulary changes massively depending on the place and the activity.
Yes, you need different nouns and maybe some different verbs.
But the grammar, the way you build the sentence to describe the routine, stays pretty consistent, whether you're talking about fetching water or going to a spiritual dance drama in DePaul or, coding in Silicon Valley.
Exactly. The structure is versatile.
Yeah.
And the sources touch on modern routines too, the fast pace of tech life, or those intense after-school Hagwon classes in South Korea that shape students' evenings.
It really hammers home that daily routine is universal, but the way it looks is incredibly diverse. And now you, the listener, have the language tools to describe that diversity.
So we've given you the words, the sentence patterns, the time stuff, the past tense, and this amazing global context. The big question is, how do you get really good at using it all?
Practice. Right. It always comes back to practice. The sources were clear on that.
Yep. Knowing it is step one. Using it is where the magic happens. And the sources suggest some really simple, practical ways to practice.
Like that.
First, just try writing down your own daily routine. Use the vocabulary we talked about, the sequence words, the times. Keep it simple at first.
Writing it down makes it concrete, helps you remember.
Exactly. Then, the next step, say out loud. Read your written routine. Describe your day verbally. This helps with the flow, the pronunciation, getting it from your head out into the world.
Makes sense. Reading, writing, speaking. What's the final piece?
Talk to someone, practice with a friend, a family member, find a language partner online maybe. Ask them about their routine. Share yours.
Ah, the interactive part.
Yes. It's such a natural topic for conversation. What do you usually do in the mornings? What did you do yesterday? It's the best way to actually use the language and build confidence.
Those are really great actionable steps. Write it, say it, share it, takes everything we've discussed and makes it real.
Exactly. That's how you make the knowledge stick.
Okay, so let's quickly recap this deep dive. We started with the core vocabulary, the essential verbs for daily life.
Wake up, get up, have breakfast, go to work. All those basics. Plus the supporting verbs like have and get and those important phrasal verbs like tidy up.
Right. Then we looked at how to build simple sentences, how to link them using sequence words first, then, after that, next, finally.
And adding time expressions, specific times like at 8 a.m. or general periods like in the evening and frequency like on weekdays.
We also touched on using the past tense, woke up, had lunch, for talking about a finished routine, like yesterday.
And then we broadened out, looking at those fascinating examples of routines around the world. Bolivia, Tanzania, Greenland, Venice.
Showing just how different daily life can be.
And this is the key insight, even with those huge differences in activities in food and travel, the basic English language structures for describing them stay pretty much the same.
And that consistency is really empowering for learners, isn't it? You have the tools now. You can describe your own routine, understand others, connect with people just by talking about the everyday.
It's a fundamental communication skill, and being able to do it confidently in English is a huge step.
It really is. It just opens up so many conversations.
Definitely.
So, as a final thought, reflecting on all those diverse routines we mentioned, the siestas, the foraging, the different ways people eat and work and travel, and thinking about the language we use, maybe consider this. What does your daily routine say about your life, about your culture, perhaps your priorities?
Hmm, interesting question.
And flipping it around, what part of your typical day might someone from, say, the Andes or Greenland or Ghana find the most surprising or the most interesting? Something to think about as you go out and practice talking about your day.